Joe Katz here from PortCityDaily.com. We're live at the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill this afternoon, leading up to the Final Four coming up this weekend out in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm catching up with one of Wilmington's own former Hoggard High School standout, Stilman White, and as I pan to my right, Stilman is joining me for this interview this afternoon. And Stilman, it's great for you to take some time with me before your last practice here. I guess you could say it's your last practice in the Dean Smith Center in your college career, so I guess we can start right there. I know Coach Williams is having a news conference with all the cameras and whatnot in the media room, but I get a chance to sit down with a Wilmington guy and being a local, media outlet, just talk and share some thoughts that are going through your mind now, as I kind of brought that to your attention that this is the last time you're going to walk out on the floor as a player here at the Dean Smith Center.
Reality's really setting in for me right now. Today's the last practice I'll ever have here. I've had over probably around 400 practices here in my career, and I'm thinking I can't stall the ending of my basketball career any much longer. This is as far as I can go, and I'm excited. Hopefully I can go out the right way.
Well, this will be your second Final Four in as many years, so that's something special. Obviously, we hope it ends on a different note as it did last year, but kind of let's go all the way back to the beginning. Coming to Carolina as a freshman, understanding that you were probably going to go away for a couple of years, but then freshman year, didn't know what you were going to see as far as playing time or whatnot, and bam, Sweet 16, Elite 8, you're getting your first start of your college career. Now that was a couple of years ago, but shed some light on what it's like to get your name called in a situation like that, and you rose to the occasion.
It was amazing. It was a great experience for me. Just the NCAA tournament as a whole, it's so hectic and crazy. It can be overwhelming with all the media and the amount of attention that the tournament gets as a whole. And to be 18 years old, trying to absorb that all in, and next thing you know, you're starting on that type of stage it was truly a neat experience for me, and I tried to take the biggest advantage of it and play as best I could. And we fell a little short of getting to the Final Four, and we had a pretty good team that year, so it was disappointing. But it was a great experience.
Now going forward, you step away from basketball for a little while to go on a Mormon mission, and talk about the things you did when you were away from the game of basketball.
Basically, my whole mission, being a missionary, was to go out and serve other people, meet as many different people as I could, and share my testimony that I have of Jesus Christ with others, and try and uplift and help all people that I could come in contact with. Might have needed the message that I had to share with people.
During that time off, I'm sure you were in communications, obviously, with the coaching staff and Coach Williams. What was the message kind of back and forth between you and him on your thoughts of coming back to play basketball, and how did he feel about this whole situation?
They did a really good job of kind of letting me serve my mission. They'd check up on me once in a while, make sure everything was good, and I was happy and having a good time, but I told them before what I was out there to do, and that was going to be my focus, and that I would have limited contact with back home. So they did a real good job of letting me go out there and have my experience of being out there all alone, and having the full experience of being a missionary.
Now you get back to Chapel Hill and you rejoin the basketball team. How much rust did you have to dust off to get yourself in a condition? You could go out there and throw it around at Wrightsville Beach and shoot at the park and do all those types of things. But then we're here. You're here. You're at the Dean Smith Center playing basketball for one of the top programs all time. How long did it take for you to get back to some type of form where you'd be able to compete at this level?
Well, I had a lot of rust. I mean, I touched basketball probably twice my entire 2 years on my mission. And, I wasn't just coming back. I was coming back at Carolina playing with the best players in the country. And so it was really tough. It took about 6 months just my body back in shape to where I could compete at a high level, let alone my skills. So it was about a whole year. I think it took until I felt really comfortable and I felt I was at my best.
We're here with Stilman White, a Wilmington native, a Hoggard High School alum. He's a senior, we can call him, on the Carolina basketball team. He's getting ready to jump off after his final practice here at the Dean Smith Center tonight. and he'll be in Phoenix for date with Oregon in the opening round of the Final Four coming, Friday night, Saturday night? Saturday night out in Phoenix in front of 100,000 people, 70,000 people at the University of Phoenix Stadium, I believe, in Glendale, Arizona. Stillman, now you get back to, you dust off the rust. You're just a sophomore, junior year. You've seen some time off the floor. Now you're back on the floor. How is it that you find yourself in some of the biggest situations, in the biggest stages, in the biggest games in all of college basketball? A guy that plays, primarily as a bench player after that freshman year. We get a couple of starts in the NCAA tournament, but how do you find yourself in those situations, as we saw the other night against Kentucky?
I don't know. I've just been real lucky how things have panned out. A lot of times I find myself, getting called on for a tight spot and something that I enjoy, and something I try to give the coaches confidence in me. I try and show them in practice every single day of the things I'm capable of doing, and I think that they do have that confidence in me. I know that whenever they're in a tight spot, that they can call on me and I can come through for them.
You're kind of a steady Eddie type of guy when you get on the floor. Not going to turn the ball over. You're going to match up defensively, potentially against the team's best player. We saw that Saturday. You're taking on a potential NBA lottery pick against Kentucky. So are you always prepping yourself, understanding that one, my name could call at any given time, and two, that when it gets called, it's going to be in a crucial situation, whether it be in the beginning of the game or towards the end of the game?
It's something that I try to be mentally prepared at all moments. I have no clue what's going to happen. With sports, just about anything could happen. Everyone's seen just about anything. And I always pride myself on being ready for that moment no matter what. And when you play at a place like here and you play on those big stages, you're going to be playing against players like that are at Kentucky, and you need to be ready, and you need to be a gamer, be able to go out and compete against them.
What are some of the, I'm just throwing you on the spot here, what are some of the biggest memories that you can take with you as you kind of wrap up this? Obviously a couple of big memories still to make, hopefully, this weekend into the national championship potentially, but what are some of the moments that you relish and remember the most?
Man, so many great ones. I've been so blessed to have so many great memories here. My freshman year, my very first college game being an aircraft carrier, and President Obama sitting at midcourt. Experiences, and the Final Four last year was the best. Even though that we didn't come through, and it was a heartbreaking loss in the championship game. The whole experience as a whole was so great, and that's why we're all so excited to be able to head back to Phoenix tonight and play this weekend. Having
the ability myself to travel with some Division I athletic programs, you always get that itinerary at the beginning of every trip. So what does the trip look like for tonight and moving into the next few days before we get ready for game time?
It's insane. The Final Four is different. The itinerary is different because we have, the Final Four is not just a couple games, it's a whole event. We have a bunch of events and banquets and functions that we have to go to, all while we're trying to prepare to win a national championship. And so it's crazy, it's hectic, especially that first Thursday. I remember last year it was about a 9-hour day of things for us to do. But it's also great. We're just so ecstatic and excited to be there at the same time.
Well, Stillman, I know you need to go get back to work here with a big practice coming up, but it's been a pleasure to meet with you and talk with you here this afternoon. Why don't you give a shout out to Wilmington for me before we see you off one last time in your last practice here at Carolina?
Sure. I carry Wilmington with me everywhere I go. I rep them. Everyone on the team always tries to bring it down, tease me about it, about my hometown. But, I love Wilmington, and, when we win the national championship this weekend, I'm going to bring it back to Wilmington for sure.
And some of those teammates have never been to Wilmington, or they would be talking trash about being at that beautiful place. Thanks a lot, Stillman.
All right. Thank you.
Stilman White here at the Dean Center, gearing up for the Final Four in Phoenix this weekend. This is Joe Katz signing off for PortCityDaily.com.